you don't need to tell people to subscribe to your channel.
Yeah.
For me, it's all about energy. Like, you just need to give them a reason that, man, when I'm with her, I just feel better.
Yeah.
And so I want to subscribe and watch more videos.
Yeah.
But I think the more you can tie what content you're making to making me feel freedom, the more I'm going to want to subscribe to your channel. At the beginning of a YouTube channel, we don't get a lot of views, right? I mean, you can look at my channel and see the history. 1 year in, 25 subscribers, whatever it was. You're not making a lot of subscribers. You're not making a lot of money from advertising. You're not really even spreading the message that far and wide. It definitely is a longer game. And so the key is, okay, how do we start generating revenue while building our mission? Like, doctors have a great business model, but mostly suck at selling. They don't know how to scale their organization. So instead they go invest in real estate and Airbnbs, and this is another way to make more passive income. They don't want to do the work. So you could do the work for them. What you're making from your Georgia operation is going to be so Mickey Mouse compared to what you're going to be making across America selling these deals.
Damn, Evan, man, that's why they call you the GOAT.
I don't know who calls me the GOAT, but
I'm calling you the GOAT.
I did some live coaching with 4 members of my Movement Makers paid community, and here is their story and some of the highlight moments. Enjoy.
When I was in my early 20s, I was working a 9 to 5 at a law firm. I hated it. I knew it's not what I was supposed to be doing. It was just a paycheck. Growing up, I was always very energy sensitive. I was always my channel was open. I was very psychic. And at a young age, I was seeing things and hearing things. And I didn't know that just was not happening for everybody. I got into a lot of that at just a very early age, learning about my abilities and working with different energy practitioners. I mean, today that's totally normal. But when I was in my teens, like that, it just wasn't as common as it is now. But I knew I always wanted to work with people. And so what I decided was, after my 9 to 5, I was going to start taking on clients. And in Michigan, we have a state licensed school for hypnosis. And so I was certified in that. I was certified in, energy work. And so I started slowly getting clients, and they were coming back. I was 24 years old and I would have clients in their 50s, 60s. So I knew that this was the work I was supposed to be doing. And then in 2016, I went through a very unexpected divorce. And at the time, I was not making enough money to be able to financially provide for myself. And so I found myself going through a very difficult time emotionally, financially, physically. And I had this moment. I was upstairs on my bedroom floor and I was just total breakdown. I was crying. I couldn't pay my bills. I couldn't pay my mortgage. Nobody wants me. My ex-husband, whatever. And I was like, who is she without him? Like, who is she without he? I have no idea who I am without this person. And I had this moment of like, I am not the only woman in the world that has no idea who she is, independent of her spouse. And I was going to find out who I was. And on top of that, I made this commitment that I was never going to put myself in a position again where I couldn't provide for myself financially, because that was a terrible experience. And I know that that's very common for women. And so I started doing the work to heal from that divorce. And then eventually that moved me into the online space. I hired a coach at the end of 2019, and I started working with women who were going through a divorce, and I slowly started getting clients. And then what happened was I started having women just organically messaging me, how are you getting business? How are you doing this? And then that kind of just transitioned into me starting to teach women how I was doing what I was doing. And it's just kind of progressed into what it is today. I would like to start posting videos, learning the best way to go about that, and really expanding my reach and my impact. You're a genius with YouTube, and I believe I have 18 videos.
Okay.
I am not consistent with YouTube. I would love to get on the platform more. But one of the things that I come up against is like, I'm very multi-passionate. So for me to talk about one thing, it's not happening. And I find that like I have so many things that I want to talk about that I end up not talking about it. It's like, you know what I'm talking? Just like overwhelmed with like, do you have to be consistent in the conversation that you're having? Because for me, I could talk about money one day, intuition the next, running retreats, like everything. And so then I'm like, do you have to really hone in on one topic?
What is your most important core value?
Freedom. The freedom to create a business in the way that like actually highlights our self-expression. So for me, anything that I teach or preach, I've done it myself. I've embodied it. And I have found that when I moved my business online in 2019, there's all these ways of how you should run your business, and none of them aligned with me. And I was like, there's no way that I can't, like, I know I can create a business in a way that actually feels really fun and good for me and not having to sacrifice my self-expression. And that's exactly what I was able to do. So for me, it's feeling liberated in the way in which we actually create our business, but also that's an extension of who we are in life. So
yeah. So if your most important core value is freedom, and then someone tells you you have to do the same kind of content over and over and over again, is there a connection here to why we might be frustrated?
Like I'm a bit of a rule breaker, so I love to do things in my own way.
Here's what I would actually suggest for you is that the content that you either have made or the ideas that you are thinking about making all in some way revolve around freedom. And so the job of the multi-passionate creator is to make the connection back to freedom.
Yeah.
I'm not coming to watch your videos because you're going to only teach me about money or only going to teach me about meditation or tattoos or whatever. Is that you're going to, well, but that could be a video. Like you going and talk about your tattoos, that's a video.
Yeah. I do have a tattoo video actually for my...
Okay. There you go. Here's the thing. If all you're doing is talking about tattoos or talking about money or talking about gardening or whatever, I'm confused as a viewer. Like, what am I watching? And you're confused as a creator. Like, what am I creating? But the job isn't to teach people about tattoos or gardening or meditation or business. The job is to teach people freedom.
Yeah.
Getting a tattoo or building a business or learning about money is just a story that is our vehicle to freedom. So to get people to freedom, we have to give advice and we have to give stories. People love stories. The tattoo is just a story.
Yeah.
But it represents really freedom. So your job then becomes you need to find, well, you need to, whatever. Definitely not telling somebody who loves freedom what she needs to do. Like, that's it, Carmichael, I'm out of here. I would suggest, encourage, whatever word we want to use, making the connection to freedom in everything that you're doing. If you're going to go and talk about business, freedom is a pretty easy connection to that. Like you're escaping the job, you want to not be in a 9-to-5, you want to set your own rules. That's why, I mean, most entrepreneurs I know love freedom.
It's like, it's one thing to talk about freedom, right? You say everybody wants a 9-to-5, but I say everybody wants something, but it's not always easy to do it. Like the concept of freedom is easy, but to actually experience that within your life, your business, your relationships, well, that's another conversation.
Well, but take me into it for like tattoo. Like actually tell me right now, how does getting the tattoo lead to freedom?
Okay, well, so I left my second marriage 2 weeks before Christmas in 2022. And part of the reason I left that marriage was because I felt really stifled. And once I realized that we were not growing together, like when the doors closed, I knew I had to move. And for me, liberation and freedom, like that's obviously a huge core value of mine. And it's an extension of my business. And I'm like, well, I can't talk about freedom if I'm not free in all aspects of my life. And so that was actually a huge deciding factor for me as to why I left the marriage. Like if I'm going to speak and stand for liberation, I have to be liberated. And so, he didn't like tattoos and I do. And I'm the type of person that when I want something, like I move very quickly, whether that's investing in somebody, making a decision, like I move. And so I woke up one morning about 2 months ago and I said, I want a full sleeve. And then I just started going through the process of that. So for me, there's a lot of things that I do that just allow me to express myself. And I'm very comfortable doing that.
I love it. So I want to take this in two different directions. The first is that little extra to the story is fantastic. You're in this marriage where you weren't allowed to be free and he hated tattoos. So the first thing you go off and do is I get the full sleeve. That's what's up, right? It's like
go big or go home. You know what I mean? Like,
no, but this is great. I mean, that, because here's the thing. I don't have any tattoos. I don't have anything against tattoos, but I don't have any tattoos. I haven't felt the inkling to get a tattoo.
Sure.
I might watch your tattoo video with the story about your ex-husband. And the point isn't to trash your ex-husband and throw him under the bus, or unless it is. I mean, maybe it is. I don't know. But it doesn't seem like that's your vibe. But what you're doing with your tattoo might inspire me to go take a dance class. Because it's not about the tattoo. It's about somebody else making me feel trapped in my life and me trying to live up to their expectations of who I'm supposed to be, instead of I have this thing that I want to do and I've been burying myself in it. And then watching you go do it inspires me to go off and do it. Yeah. So it's not a how to tattoo video. It's a how to be free video.
Yeah. And it's like, the thing is I never actually wanted a full sleeve, like throughout my marriage. Like, but what I recognized was, for us to have that full experience of our creativity and things coming in, we have to feel free. So for me, it was kind of like, I realized that in creating that space and leading that marriage, all of a sudden I was having these new desires come up and these ideas coming through. And so allowing myself the space to actually move with that was really fun.
And that is a fantastic lesson for America, because most people feel trapped by something.
Yeah.
It may not be a marriage, although a lot of people feel trapped by their marriage and feel like they can never move on. So that might be inspiring, but they're trapped by something. We're all trapped by something. And seeing somebody have the courage to then take the step, and if, you go big or go home. So taking a step in a big way, it gives permission for me to go off and take even a little step. How many people are even afraid of having a tattoo? Like, they always wanted this little bear cub on their ankle that nobody's going to see anyway, but like they're not. But then seeing you go off and get your full sleeves, like, oh, maybe I'll go get my bear cub, right? Or maybe I'll take that dance class. Or maybe I'll start my YouTube channel. Or maybe right? There's lots of things that they might do because we all feel trapped by something.
Yeah.
So if you can make your videos connect to freedom, then that's the theme that runs through everything. So you're not only doing one thing every time, except the one thing is freedom. Yeah. You have the freedom to talk about whatever you want. Just bring it back to freedom for me, so that I know why I'm watching these videos and I get inspired to go make a change in my life.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I can already see there's like a million ideas spinning, because everything I have done, especially in the creation of my business, has revolved around that. If I don't feel free, if I can't be myself, like, I'm not doing it. That's not fun for me.
Yeah. And the people who will be attracted to you are the ones who want more freedom in their lives too. And they don't know how to get it, and they need more courage. Whatever you're going to teach inside of your business, if you're going to help entrepreneurs get started, you're not going to be the stuffy professor at the front and say, you have to follow these 18 steps in exact order and sequence. But some people, they work that way, and that's what they love. They're like, you're going to die in the first 5 minutes of that, which is great. So don't do that. And the people who will love you are the ones who, they're always told that they have to have this one specific structure and it's the only way to win. And you're here to show them that's not true.
Yeah.
A distinction I would pay attention to is, I forget the exact wording now because we've been talking for a while, but when you're talking about leaving the husband and then doing the tattoos, like, I can't talk about freedom unless I'm fully living freedom myself, something like that. You're never fully living freedom yourself.
Yeah.
And it's okay to show people the journey too.
Yeah. And I'm very comfortable with that. And I definitely do. And for me, it was like, once I knew, like, once it was 100%, it's time to move on, I moved on. And I allowed people in to see that. I'm very much, for me, transparency in my business is a big, big thing. Like, I just love that. So I love to show my audience, like, when I'm celebrating a high cash month or a success in my life and my business, but I also love to show them, when I'm moving through something challenging and how I deal with that. Yeah.
And so you may not even know what freedom looks like. Like, if you're struggling to make a decision on something, it's because you don't know what freedom looks like. So in this scenario, what does freedom actually look like?
Yeah.
And having the courage to go and chase it down. Like, when you 100% know something, and you'll move faster than the average bear, right? I mean, you just decide and you go and you trust your intuition, and right. But you probably stayed in that marriage longer than you should have, and you've definitely done other things for longer than you should have, right? And so there will still be other things that you're doing longer than you should have, and me too, by the way. I mean, nobody. Yeah, everybody.
Yeah.
Because you haven't worked through what freedom looks like yet. And so that could be part of the process of taking people through the journey, because you're not done with freedom yet.
Right.
There's still like many, many, many more layers of what freedom looks like for you.
Yeah.
And every time you feel stuck on something, even now, you're stuck on making YouTube content. Because you don't feel the freedom. Well, before this, right? Because you didn't feel the freedom to just do whatever you wanted, and it felt all over the place. So now you're not doing it. You've got a million ideas. blocking freedom for you then leads to inaction.
Yeah, but I also feel like I'm a responder. So for me, if somebody asks me a question, I will riff on that. I could never just go and create a video and just talk to the wall. Like I can't, I thrive off of an energetic exchange. So I think that's another reason I've been a little bit, I'm going to take out reason and say excuse as to why I haven't been posting all my videos, you know?
So one, never say never, because that's anti-freedom. So, you might get to making videos by yourself, but I agree. I love it too. Like it's much more natural to be with somebody than be on your own in your house, basement, garage, or whatever, to just talking to a camera. So then if that's how you thrive, then how do you create more of those experiences? Yeah. Whether you're doing a biz dev show or an interview show or a coaching show, there's no right answer for everybody. This is going to be tapping into your heart. Like, who do you want to exchange energetically with? Yeah. And then making content around that. It could just be over Zoom or Riverside or Instagram Lives that get cut up. But whether we're coaching people through freedom or there's somebody who you just really love. And the amount of times that I've said yes to doing things just because I felt an energetic connection to this person that made zero sense. But then at some point just comes back and pays off is incredible.
Yeah.
I've said yes to being on people's shows and doing interviews where my team is like, but we have all these big shows that you're supposed to go on and you're saying no to, and you said yes to this person who doesn't even have a channel yet. Why do you make this decision? Like, I don't know. I just like this person. You don't even know this person. How do you like this person? Like, I don't know. I like their vibe. And that's how, I mean, I think if you're going to, I've been making videos for 15 years, right? So that's an easy way to stay consistent, is that you're doing things that you love. Yeah. And a lot of times the things that you want to do make zero sense.
Yeah.
And so, but it's still chasing those things down.
Yeah.
So if you love making content with people, cool, then make content with people.
Yeah, I get it.
I mean, we're doing it now, right? We just yeah, and especially if you love freedom, complication is the enemy.
This is probably why I would never tell people to subscribe to my channel. I've never done that in any video. I think I have like 976 subscribers. So that's, whatever. But I'm noticing too how, for me, if someone tells me I have to do it this way, I'm just not doing it. So freedom travels a little deeper. Yeah.
You'll do the opposite, even if it doesn't serve you, because F them, basically.
Well,
you don't get to control me. But yeah. I have 4 million subscribers almost on my channel, and I don't ask people to subscribe either.
Have you ever?
I don't know. Ever, probably at some point. I mean, I think everybody makes the usual like and subscribe and leave a comment and share with your friends. And
can't stand that.
I haven't in at least a decade. I mean,
okay.
If there are any videos of me doing that, they are a decade plus old.
Okay.
But you don't need to tell people to subscribe to your channel.
Yeah.
You just need to give them. For me, it's all about energy. Like, you just need to give them a reason that, man, when I'm with her, when I'm with Evan, I just feel better. Yeah. And so I want to subscribe and watch more videos. Yeah. So yeah, you don't need to do that. And you don't need to do anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, don't tell you what to do. But I think the more you can tie what content you're making to making me feel freedom, the more I'm going to want to subscribe to your channel, the more success you'll have and the more freedom ultimately you have to then go do. It's like you're doing everything that you want to do anyway. It's just the wrapping and packaging to make it easier to consume for people. And also just set direction for you. Like, why do I want to go make a video about, like, amethyst? It feels weird. Yeah, but it's about freedom. Like, how does amethyst mean freedom to me? And then go off and make that video.
Cool. Got it. So I wanted to ask you, what would your top 3 tips for starting and scaling your YouTube channel be? Like, if you're like, go out and do these 3 things and do them consistently, what would that be?
I'm not going to tell you to do 3 things consistently because you're going to rebel against me and then put a tattoo of my face with an X through it or something on your arm afterwards. but First is figuring out what can we create consistently, like creating something consistently and being flexible in what we create. If you had a weekly video going up, like sometimes having a schedule helps.
Yeah.
You know, where if it's just energetic flow, like for me, I have a lot scheduled in my calendar and I'll move things around based off energetic flow. But if I was just energetic flow all the time, 100%, I don't know. I may not ever make a video again. Like I have no idea. So like having a little bit of structure is a good, it's like scaffolding.
I'm not against structure.
We need there it is again, but like scaffolding. You don't need to build like giant foundations and then you can't move on, but like scaffolding that we can set up and tear down quickly, I think is helpful. So it's not just a giant creative mess. So what can you create? What can you commit to that you can start creating some consistency with, whether it's doing a vlog, whether it's doing interviews, whether it's doing coaching sessions, whether it's solo. I mean, it's probably not solo directed video, but getting something set up. And if it's other people, then great. Start committing to other people. Commit to other people. Say, I'm starting this show and I'd love for you to come on. I remember being at this event in LA. It was one of my first YouTube events. And some people were recognizing me. So I would stay in the lobby and I would talk to people. And that's my favorite thing to do. I didn't go really any of the sessions. I just stay in the lobby and talk to people. As introverted as I am, I like serving and helping. And so just stay in the lobby all day. And it would be from as soon as I woke up in the morning to like 2, 3 in the morning. And I'd forget to eat, forget to go to the bathroom, be running a fever and like not notice it. Yeah. And just because I'm just present and in the energy, it's great. And if I do that for too many days in a row, then I start to get sick because my body's like now shuts down on me.
Yeah.
But I remember getting sick after that event for doing it for 2 or 3 days. And then on the flight home thinking, man, okay, this was awesome. Like this is me at my best. How do I do this more? But in a healthy way so that I'm not getting sick.
But yeah, and you're sleeping. Yeah.
I'm sleeping like half decently. Right. So I'm going to do a show. I'm going to do a show. And I'm going to interview people. And actually, it was a coaching show. I'm going to do a coaching show, have people on. On the flight home, that's when I started the idea. And then I noticed as I got closer to Toronto, my home city, my certainty in the idea began dropping. It was like 95%, 90%, 85%. Like the closer I'm getting home, the less certain I am about this thing. So as I see my certainty dropping, because I'm leaving like this big burst of energy, and I think that the ideas that come to you when you're feeling bold and energetic are the best ideas for you.
Yeah.
And then your brain talks you down from these things and you fall back to scarcity and certainty and all these other things. It's like, I'm losing it. I'm already losing the vibe. I got to do something. So I committed. I wrote on the plane and I booked my first week of guests to say, hey, I'm starting this new show. Do you want to come on? Do you want to come on? Like I personally outreached to people who are following me on Instagram and said, hey, do you want to be one of my first guests on this new show? That was like a Friday I was coming back. Monday was going to be the show. When I got to my studio on Monday, like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. It went from 100% on Friday to 0. Yeah. I don't want to do this. Why am I doing all of this scarcity? I don't have time for this. I should be doing something else. It's way better uses of my energy, yada, 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 yada. But I had to follow through because I booked. I'm not going to not show up for somebody, right? So I show up and I do the first episode and I leave feeling, this is awesome. That's why I did this. This is great, right? Committing to somebody else, I find really helpful. And if you're going to create a show where you're talking to other people and you're feeling an energetic connection, great. Like who's the person you can message right after this to say, hey, I'm starting this new show. I don't know what it looks like yet, but I love talking to you and I love our vibe. Do you want to come on and create it? And it'll probably be a mess at the beginning, but it's fun. Like creativity is messy, right? At the beginning. And we're just trying to set some scaffolding so that magic can happen.
Yeah.
So the long way of saying is like, what is the kind of content that we can create and commit to somebody to that is fun, is energetic for you. You look forward to it. I see you in my calendar. I'm looking forward to talking to you and learning about your business and how I can help, right? Even though we haven't met like this before. The second this becomes work for me, I'm not doing this anymore.
Totally. Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I'll just tell Sean and tell the team, okay, don't book any more of these sessions because I don't like doing it. If it's work if I'm like hating my life and then have to fake being excited to talk to you, it's like, that's it. I'm done. We're moving on from this thing.
Yeah.
ASAP, right? But this doesn't work. Like we're already, how are we already at time? It's crazy. This is nuts. So,
Yeah.
and like 15 years later of doing this, right? So I feel you. I understand you. And now it's making the commitment to other people, ideally, so that you can get the shows going. The second thing I would encourage you to do, since you asked for 3, is to try to figure out how to incorporate freedom intentionally, because unintentionally, it's always going to be there because that's who you are.
Yeah.
Right. But more intentionally, if you said, how do we tell a freedom story? If I'm going to come on your show and we're going to talk about something, we could go in a million different directions. But how do you guide the conversation so that the viewer is going to be feeling freedom by the end of it, right? What's the Maya Angelou quote? It's not about what you did. It's about how you make me feel.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Something like that.
So hopefully, sorry, Maya, if I don't strike me down from, we love you. That was the intention was to nail it. But that's it. It's like, it's not even so much what you said in the interview or the conversation. It's like, I feel lighter. I feel more courageous. I feel like taking more freedom in my life right now because I was around you. Yeah, just 2. I'm not going to give you 3. That's it. You got 2.
I love it. My kind of answer, right?
2, that's it. We're done. We're not doing 3. 3 is too many. Just those 2 things.
Action.
Figure out the scaffolding and commit to somebody else. And then how do we intentionally bring freedom into every piece of content that you're creating?
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
All right.
That way it's like, I have the freedom to say I'm only giving you 2. It was brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Screw you and your 3 rules. We're not doing 3. We're only doing 2.
Amazing. My biggest takeaway was that I just need to start creating the videos. But I loved how he was talking about having intentional freedom be kind of what I'm, having my videos revolve around. So that gave me a lot of really great feedback in terms of how to bring everything back to kind of the main point, which when I look at it, I can do that with business, the divorce, like just so many different things. So I'm excited to have the ability to talk about different things, but have a core theme with it. That was helpful. Just feeling like inspired to just show up and start creating my videos. I know that that's what I have to do. And so that's what I plan on doing. And I'm going to look at all the ways in which I can start tying everything into that theme and creating impact that way.
I was a big Gary Vaynerchuk guy, like, hey, document the process, etc. So ended up documenting my journey. I was like, hey guys, I'm getting into real estate. So when I started documenting that process, I was doing a lot of stuff on social media. Then I had a pushback and I'm like, I really want to interview other investors who are like, 100 steps ahead of me. But I had this kind of limiting belief that why would they interview me when I don't even own any real estate? So I reached out to this gentleman and said, hey, would love to have you on my podcast. I only had like a few episodes of me like recording my journey. He's like, let's do it. That gentleman ended up having 300 million assets under management. And this whole limiting belief about people asking how many properties I own never happened. And the reason why that ties into the story and that's important is I had a gentleman who was super connected, who's like, I love what you're doing on social. Can you do that for me? And I'm like, yes. Yes. So I always say yes, commit, and figure it out later. That ended up opening up an entire agency where he was super connected in a mastermind group, and he had tons of people who are like, we love what you're doing. Who's doing it for you? Oh, invested talent. And just like that, our agency was born. So that's how we got our foot in the door. Because of that, this is why it's key. He had a gentleman that became a client of ours who was into Airbnb. We never thought of Airbnb as an option because it's just Airbnb. Like, why wouldn't we have 100% rentals and just instead of having a consistent 12-month lease? Never looked back. We took that model, we implemented just because I had taken that leap of starting that podcast, creating an agency, and then that person coming on my show, planting that seed. And now we just closed on another home yesterday. We just need a different paradigm. And I think luckily people like Evan, I think has done an amazing job of being able to plant those seeds. Like, you watch his channel and you'll start to be like, oh, I need to start thinking like this because this is how these people think. And the cool thing is we have the ability to adapt our thoughts. Like, all of our thoughts come from somewhere. So if we can just rewire our thoughts and rewire our education, I think the world is ours, right?
I serve investors, Airbnb hosts, and when a tree falls on your home.
I don't know that. No, hopefully I don't. No,
We
don't curse me,
I will
Ruben.
not curse
You know when
you, but
you know
I
what
know
tree
you know of
almost
it.
fell on my house? It almost happened. This is a giant storm. I was in the US and Nina was here at home, and a tree in the backyard collapsed and almost fell on the house. But I don't want that to happen again. But yes,
You
keep
know
going.
that it's prevalent. It's actually much more prevalent. This is actually a perfect example. It's happening, almost happened to you. It's happened to me, and it happens a lot. And typically, what happens is right away when that happens, you call your insurance company, and you basically get a claim. And if you're unable to live in your home, you now have to be displaced to live in a home that ideally is furnished, because the hotel is not ideal when you come with coming from a 4-bedroom home. You got the dogs, you got the kids, you got the family. And so we specialize in working directly with these insurance companies. We house these families and they pay us a premium. So my goal is to help as many investors do that, and we've done it. My mastermind group done it, and it's very fulfilling, it's very profitable, and it's a niche that exists.
So you're
Does that
taking
make sense?
existing Airbnbs,
Yes.
people want to rent out their homes, and
Yeah.
instead of going direct to consumer and listing on Airbnb, or maybe
Yes.
that's also, I mean, that's still part of the model. You can still do that.
Yep.
But another way to land bookings is to partner with insurance companies who have displaced family members in a home, and then they send them to your network of Airbnbs instead of whatever else we would do, go to a hotel or something else.
If you have a home that's on Airbnb, you can play part of this inventory because there's not enough.
Right.
So you don't have to be part of any specific network. You can just drop your property in a database. You can essentially, you just need to know where these insurance companies are looking. And the truth is they're looking everywhere because there's not enough inventory. They'll look on Airbnb, Zillow, etc. So with that said, we have 2 avatars, Evan, because I help other Airbnb hosts or other investors land these kind of contracts by making these small tweaks and getting them, what I always say is low headaches and high profitability, and most importantly, fulfilling, right? I have a post on my recently that just showed the difference between a guest and dealing with the Airbnb guests and the insurance.
Well, and they're in there for a while, right? Like what's the average length, right?
Oh, anywhere from 3 months to 6 months.
It's not just the 4th of July weekend or something.
No, exactly. And so for you, if you're experiencing like a lot of turnovers, the avatar is different because the Airbnb guest is coming for a short stay and they're paying a premium and they expect everything to be perfect. Meanwhile, this person is staying and their insurance company is paying a premium and they're very grateful individuals. Now, the thing is, the question that I have is, I pour a lot of content into teaching others how to do this. I pour a lot of content into educating that this even exists because I didn't even know this existed, right? But then that's the avatar of me being able to help people and serve people. Shout out to Built to Serve. Right here on my desk.
Let's go.
Right? Oh, just say one, Evan. You don't know. Now, the question is, Evan, the avatar to get these contracts or the insurance company. So when we talk in our mastermind about a biz dev show, I have 280 episodes or 270, we're thinking of 277 episodes where I've just been interviewing other midterm rental operators who do this as well. I've been interviewing, I had a public adjuster that came on. But really, when I think of this, and I'm curious to see if you see it this way too, the avatar that we teach is different than the avatar that gets us contracts. So when I think of the biz dev show, I'm thinking, do I broaden it to then actually, interview someone who's at the insurance company to go through their process? Because we're sending them proposals and getting us these large contracts. But my commitment to serve is the Airbnb person next door who wants to get access to these contracts. So I would love to see, how your thought process is of like, yeah, Ruben, you totally tap into that avatar to serve your original avatar, or actually, no, just focus on your current avatar, right? And I'll give you an example. Right now, we took what you told us to do in the course, and we have this Ask Me 3 questions under 15 minutes, and we coach other Airbnb hosts for free on my YouTube channel, and you can just see it. People are asking questions like, how do I get access to this? Do I duplicate my listing? Do I do that? And so that's been really fun. But I'm wondering, do I double down on that, or do I actually join the dark side and start bringing in those relocation specialists who we work with and and then maybe integrate?
I don't know. We want to call our clients the dark side, Ruben. What do you sell? How do you make money?
I coach people and I lend contracts that fill my portfolio as well. So it's 2. So my portfolio right now is 100% occupied with these contracts, and I teach others how to do it as well. So it's really 2 avatars.
Anybody who's trying to start up an Airbnb, they can hire you as a coach. They can buy your programs, courses, etc.
Yeah.
But if you're going to get a deal from the insurance companies, you're taking a cut to then give to Airbnb hosts?
No. What we have, we put together a network right now. You can go on our website, the MTR Insurance Network, where we're trying to aggregate and teach as many investors how to do this. Because when I'm 100% occupied, I want to be able to share it to somebody else who understands what we're doing. It's almost like movement makers. We get it, right? We're going to share, we're going to understand. So right now we have a network, essentially would replace Airbnb down the road, which is a big project that I have. But right now, my goal is to educate as many investors, right? So yes, they can learn through me, through my coaching, learn through my YouTube content, etc. But at the same time, I'm wondering, can I bridge that gap and start working with biz dev show for like corporate, so we kind of get behind their minds of what they're looking for, what they're not looking for. Like,
where's home for you?
Right now we're in Massachusetts.
And most of your properties are close?
They're in Georgia. That's our market.
Oh, okay. So if somebody, insurance companies from New York has a displaced family, what are you doing with them? Can you help them, or you can't help them because your places are Georgia?
Because I'm not, but someone in my network, I send it to someone in my network and be like, hey, there's a displaced family in New York City. Can you take this on? Because all my properties in Georgia. I think that's what you're asking.
Yeah, and you take a cut from that, or you just goodwill?
No, we have a membership. You just pay a membership site to be on our network and just get access to the leads.
Oh, how much is the membership?
Like $297 a month.
Okay.
To get thousands of dollars worth of deals. It's pretty cool. You could broker it. And you're like, I want to get in on this. But you could. We don't want to deal with the liability of it. Like, I don't want to be like, if I issue a contract, like, I can do that locally. It's easy when I know the person. Like, I could be like, hey, listen, I got a $10,000 a month lead that's coming your way. What's your number? It's 8,000. I could take 2,000 off of that. I've done that before. But I'm not doing that nationwide at scale, because what if I don't know what your property looks like? It looks nice. You got some nice bookshelves, etc. But what's the quality assurance like? I don't want to have that liability. So we thought about going that route at some point, but right now we just have the network. Join the network. There's a bunch of leads nationwide. You can get access to them when they come in. We'll drop them in there.
Keep with me this example, New York, right? Okay, so displaced family, you can't help them. You're going to put it to your network. Somebody in the network says, hey, I'm in New York. I want to do this. Then you put them in touch with the insurance company?
That's it. We drop it in there. You make the connection, close the deal. We've done it many times in our network.
And then the insurance company
deals with them.
Deals with them directly. But if it's a bad deal, that ultimately will come back to you anyway.
It's almost like you get a bad referral, like, hey, who's your carpenter? This guy's awesome. You should use him. And then you use him and you say, hey, by the way, Evan, he was terrible.
If I need a carpet guy and you say, I say, Ruben, hey, do you know, I got a carpet guy in Toronto. Thanks, Ruben. If the guy you send me is trash, I'm not coming back to Ruben to ask for more deals.
We do vet them. We do vet our people who join our network.
Okay.
Like,
and you could also, you don't have to broker the deal and be liable. You could take your cut from the Airbnb side afterwards.
You could.
Here's why I say it, okay? I think you got, like, there's a genius little model here, and it actually could be a big model. Yeah. Most people who are doing Airbnbs don't like doing sales. They don't have the Ruben personality. They don't want to do a show. They don't want to be making calls. They don't want to talk to insurance. It might be a genius strategy, but most people don't want to do that work. So you have an ability to do, I think, two things. One, with you being on calls, but if you made enough of a business, you then hire a team of sales guys. And sales guys is just getting in touch with the insurance, all the insurance companies. Yeah. And yes, you should have a show. You should have a show doing interviews with people in the insurance industry. I don't know if it's best for it's like, who's the decision maker?
The insurance adjuster.
Yeah. So they may not want to come on your show.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But,
it's a little too, yeah.
But like, this is why most Airbnb people will not do this strategy, even if it's genius and if you teach them, because there's too many steps and you need too much of a salesman approach to be able to do this, where they want to fix up properties. They barely want to list them. Like, you already asked them to do marketing, which is take good pictures and post and write a good description. Like, how many people who you deal with take crap pictures of their homes, don't know how to sell it, don't know what words to put in. They suck at marketing. And if you suck at marketing, good luck trying to be good at sales. So you have an opportunity, like talking about surveying plus monetizing, you have an opportunity. If you could take this nationwide and you're giving them leads where otherwise they would not do this themselves. So you could tell them what to do, but they're not going to do it.
Okay. So you're saying more of like done for you.
And take a commission from their end. So you don't have liability, but you still have to vet them, because if you're passing off crap leads to the insurance companies, they're not going to keep coming back and dealing with
Exactly. Yeah.
So there's a vetting process that maybe they even pay to be a part of it. So there's a regular Airbnb course you can help them with. Cool. Then there's a special insurance thing, and you have to pay an admin fee to get your house vetted properly, whatever that looks like for you and your team, to look at the pictures and reviews and whatever you have to go through. You're not going to fly to everybody's home. So you have to figure out that it might be a half-hour Zoom call and you're going through their house and whatever. But they pay for that to be part of the program. And then you take a cut of every sale that is introduced through the insurance program.
Got it. So you're basically
help them.
doing all the heavy lifting, like the proposals, you're doing that. And then when you get it, you'll check the availability as well. Then you take a cut out of that because you're basically saying no one wants to do that.
Yeah. The thing is, okay, it's heavy lifting in one-off scenarios, but it's not heavy lifting when you're doing it across the state or across the country. Like that just becomes somebody's job.
Yeah.
But to figure it out, to do it yourself is a lot of work.
That's very good. I like that. You basically just reposition the business model because people just don't want to do the work. And to your point, you're right. Some of these guys are professionals, like they're doctors and they have property. They don't have the time to maybe they do have to make the time, but if they don't have the time to send a proposal in or get on a call, it would be advantageous for me to just serve it to them on a silver platter.
Yeah, and they also don't have the skill set, and they don't want to learn the skill set. No doctor wants to be cold calling insurance companies and saying, hey, I've got this property. Do you have any? Even if you give them the exact script, they don't want to do that work. Like doctors have a great business model, but mostly suck at selling.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Same thing with lawyers. Same thing with like a lot of them. They have but they have one of the lowest failure rates of any business type in America versus starting a restaurant or starting, a different kind of service business. But because there's so much demand baked in, it's really hard to go bankrupt as a doctor or as a lawyer. It just is. But so then you don't have to be great at selling. A lot of business just comes to you. And if you do good work, you get more referrals, and that's how they grow. But most of them don't grow to be big multi-million-dollar organizations because, again, they don't know how to sell or scale. They're just doing their thing, which is why they often go to other things like Airbnbs, because like I'm only making so much as a doctor. I'm making X per year, and that's what I make per year. And if I work more hours, I can make a little bit more, but I'm tired of trading my time for money. They don't know how to scale their organization. So instead they go invest in real estate and Airbnbs. And this is another way to make more passive income and have a nest egg and et cetera. So they're joining Airbnb and hiring you and sign up for your courses, et cetera. They don't want to do the work. Yeah. So you could do the work for them and take a good cut, not just like think about, if somebody has an Airbnb, I mean, you would know the math obviously way better than me, but if I have a Airbnb place, that is not my primary residence, right? That's a little different because I don't want to move out for 6 months from my primary residence, probably. Yeah. But if it's a weekend or 3 weekends and it's not my primary residence, I want it booked as much as I can have it booked. Yeah. Right. And so do you know if somebody has a place, use Georgia. Yep. They're not as sophisticated as you. They don't have all the techniques. They're a new student, coming into your program. So not yours, because you know a lot more than most people, obviously. Yeah. But a new person coming to the market in Georgia, they want their Airbnb listed and booked up full time. What percent are they actually filled up?
60%.
60%. Okay, so already there's a 40% premium that we're making. Right. And then the insurance companies, are they paying Airbnb rates, above rates, lower than rates? What are they paying?
Like way above rates.
Like how much above rates?
Like double.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm comparing 60% occupancy versus 100% at double the prices. Mm-hmm. So you could take a killer cut, right? Like you're taking 30%, 40% of the deal, and they're still making way more money than they would if they were doing Airbnb, and they have zero work to do. They're not coming in every weekend and cleaning up. They're not, I mean, obviously if there's issues, like they're a landlord, so the toilet breaks or whatever, they have to figure that out. But all the back and forth with the communication and the clients and this weekend, and the lock spot didn't work, and the internet Wi-Fi password is screwed up, and all of the stupid, and cleaning and fees, and something was stolen, and all of that headache. Like you could even take 50%. You could take 50% commission off the deals, and they're still way better off than they were before having met you. 100%. And 50% commission off a deal is a pretty sweet margin for you.
100%.
That's one full-time person. I mean, that's you, maybe the start, but then that becomes a full-time person that is just talking to insurance companies. And then when you have too many insurance companies and deals, now you're cold calling Airbnbs and say, hey, I've got this opportunity. You don't have to serve the Airbnbs. You just have to serve the insurance companies and then cold call the Airbnbs and say, hey, I've got this opportunity. You're interested.
Yeah.
And it's really just going to be a case of, do they want to give up 6 months of, or 3 months of, they can't go back to their house for 3 months if that's their primary residence, which some people may not want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. No, usually, so it's interesting because our avatar is people who come from the Airbnb world who understand what you just said, the headache, the turnover. Is like, I have a post on my profile that later I do it. I compare the STR guests with the MTR where they're just looking for something, some of them are just looking for something to be wrong, right? It just, they want it to be perfect. And so we know the headache of like, inquiries of, hey, I locked myself out, or, hey, and this space, it's like they come in and they're quiet. You don't hear from them. And the insurance company is literally just sending you a check or a wire every single month.
Yeah, and they're good for it. You don't have to chase them.
Corporate. Like they're on time every time. Like you're not dealing with B2C to customer. You're dealing with B2B. These large corporations are just counting out checks. That's why for me, naturally, I thought, okay, well, teach the person who already knows how hard it is to fish that there's a better model that's easy. And that's who we've been coaching. But now you actually make me think, and this is why we're on this live, of course, is actually in addition to those folks, there's also folks who don't want to do any work. Do you believe that, Evan, that, again, I know the power of focus, that the two can be targeted, or is there one that you're like, Ruben, I would focus on this, right? Because right now there is obviously Airbnb operators.
Oh, yeah, but there is. But that's tiny. I mean, it all depends on the goals, obviously, but you'll make so much more revenue by selling other people's Airbnbs than you have in your own. What you're making from your Georgia operation is going to be so Mickey Mouse compared to what you're going to be making across America selling these deals. Just like Airbnb has no properties.
Right.
Like the company owns nothing, right?
Control everything.
Well, that's what you're going to do. You're just going to control the market and somebody's going to do it. Might as well be you. So then once somebody has them bought, like this, when you're doing outreach to the Airbnb owners to say, hey, I've got this deal for you, that's a pretty easy call to take. It's like, what? You want to think my place for 6 months?
Right.
Yeah, I'm happy to hop on a call. You land a deal for the insurance side of things. And then when that deal runs out, or even just through the process, it's like, who are you again, Ruben? You have a mastermind for Airbnb? How do I join your mastermind? The course you guys have? Like when you're bringing them money, they want to sign up and do everything else with you too. So it's like, it's easy lead gen for the other side of your business as well, for your courses and mastermind and everything else.
It's true. Yeah. Money talks.
Yeah. And then like, if you're giving them a big paycheck, then maybe they launch a second Airbnb and a third Airbnb and they have their own little network. Now they can afford, like, how much is your mastermind? Great. So now it's a $50,000 mastermind. They can afford to get into that, and you're helping them build, expand, and grow.
Damn. Evan, man. That's why they call you the GOAT.
I don't know who calls me the GOAT, but
I'm calling you the GOAT. I love it.
You can call me the GOAT.
So let's serving through content. So now that you have full context, right? If you look on my YouTube channel, we've been like, again, shout out to Movement Makers. If I can give you guys the ultimate plug, seriously, you guys have been amazing. Just studying your and listening to your advice. We completely revamped our YouTube channel to, again, cater to the avatar, the Airbnb avatar next door, who's like running through the wall with these, high seasons, low seasons, and constant turnovers and all that. When you think about what I think I told you, is we also have like this mid-term rental coaching hot seat where we speak to homeowners. Does that change now that you have full content? Do they say, hey, Ruben, like you might not get the insurance adjuster, but get these relocation specialists on the phone, because these relocation specialists are the ones who are reaching out on Airbnb, getting on Zillow Rental Manager. The only thing that I would say is that they're working for a corporation. I don't know if they're going to come on my show and spill all the secrets of like, this is like the kind of stuff, how we underwrite, and this is how we reject your deal when we don't like it. Like, that's kind of where my mind's going. But what do you see?
You don't need them to spill any details. You want to make it as easy as possible to get them to come on. The point of a biz dev show is not to make content. The point of the biz dev show is to build a relationship. Like if a house falls in a tree, who makes a decision of where we send this deal to? Is it actually the adjuster, or is it somebody further in?
So it gets basically when you call and that you have a claim, they have a pool and they have territories. They'll be like a relocation specialist. This one, Amy covers all of Georgia and anything in Georgia, Florida, etc.
Yeah.
So they'll get assigned a lead to be like Heaven's house. Hey,
yeah.
These guys got to be displaced.
So that's who we want.
Then,
we want Amy or Amy's boss.
Yeah, Amy's boss would be dope.
Like, what's a title? What would Amy's boss's title be?
Probably like an account manager. I should know this because I emailed one the other day. I know the relocation specialists are more prevalent, but above all, it may be a housing coordinator.
Okay, so let's say housing coordinator, and whatever the title is, you figure it out, and it might be different for different companies, right? But a housing coordinator covers all of Georgia or half of Georgia or what?
The one I've spoke to, she literally is like, she was nationwide. She was like, she knows exactly. I don't even know how she handles nationwide, but she's on top of the team, and she basically knows her relocation specialists cover territories.
Got it. Perfect. So we want the housing coordinator. If she covers the whole country, awesome. If they have 4 for regions, whatever, those are the people that we want on. We want them to know you, love you, trust you. And so nobody ever wants to interview a housing coordinator for an insurance company, right? Ever.
Yeah.
If you wanted to go up to the CEO, maybe, but still a CEO of an insurance company. But housing coordinator inside whatever company, nobody has ever talked to them. The interview is not about sharing their secrets and trying to get inside information. It's only about their story. What do you do? Why did you start in this career? What are some of the biggest lessons that you've learned? Like it's as if you're doing an interview for a biography kind of thing. We don't care about secrets they're going to give because we're not making content for an audience. We're making content to build the relationship. Because she's what company is she at?
A CRX temporary.
Okay. CRX, perfect. And then you look at how many of these insurance companies are there?
There's about I would say there's a lot, like 30.
30
and if you're talking about
the country?
If you're talking the major ones, there's probably a dozen. If you're talking about the micro ones, then you can get up to like 50 to 100.
For the country? Okay.
Yeah, country.
So let's say there's 100. Great. If you did a show a week, that's 2 years to get through everybody in the country. Like the major, what are they called? Whatever the housing coordinators?
Housing coordinators.
Right. Or whatever the name is. Yeah. Okay. And nobody's interviewing these guys. They're trying to build a relationship. So if you got to know all 100 of the housing coordinators across the country, and they all liked you, even if 50% of them liked you, and some of them passed you business, like what does that do to your company? It's insane.
I mean, that's insane.
It's insane. Now, like whatever you're doing in Georgia is nothing, and whatever you're doing for the Airbnb coaching is also nothing compared to the size. If you're taking 50% commission on all of these deals, or 25% or 30%, whatever, but even at 50%, you're still giving your Airbnb host a way better deal than the alternative would be, which is them trying to list their house on Airbnb.
Yeah. Damn.
And so your role is just public facing, right? So you're doing the interviews. As you build revenue, you then hire a salesperson who's going to be doing all the follow-up and all the lease agreements and all the stupid stuff that you have to deal with to make it happen. Yeah. While you're also then being the face for Airbnb. Like, who's the face for Airbnb rentals for America?
The face?
Yeah. Who's the face? Like, if Dave Ramsey is the face of personal finance, who's the face of Airbnb rentals for America?
I guess what's his name is Chiseki or whatever his name is. But I guess that's the core.
Yeah, nobody.
Or you're talking about
my man Ruben's gonna be. Like, how are you then speaking at the Airbnb conference and event? Yeah. Right? It's just like the only work you end up doing is brand. It's just content. It's interviewing the insurance companies to build the relationship that your sales team then takes over. Yeah. And then it's creating Airbnb content, but in a much bigger way. That then, like, you are the guy that America turns to for Airbnb content, which will not pay as much in the short to medium term versus the insurance companies. Like the insurance companies, insurance companies next 5 years are going to pay you way more than anything you'll make off of Airbnb, coaching programs, masterminds, and anything else. You'll just make way more off of the insurance companies in the next 5 years. But if you become known as the guy for Airbnb for America by making the consumer content for the Airbnb hosts, that leads to insane opportunities. That's like, Ruben should join the board of directors for Airbnb.
That's interesting because you're saying the two should coexist.
If you don't have time for both, you go the insurance path because that's going to get you the money to hire the team to do everything else. So you might have to do all the sales at the beginning, write up the contracts at the beginning and all that. But we want to get enough insurance contracts so that we can fund sales team and ops team to be able to run all that side. And all you're doing is opening up doors and making content. That's all you should be doing. Open up doors and making content. If you have time for both, then the other side is also doing the Airbnb side and building the brand. That'll be a much bigger brand for America than just the insurance side. But the insurance side pays more in the next 5 years.
In your world, in focus, because I'm committed, do you focus on both?
It depends on your time commitment. Within your big mission, we want to make money as quickly and as big as possible. And so the insurance companies nothing takes away from getting the insurance deals to happen. And if that means the Airbnb content has to go for 6 months while you build that, do that, because you'll make way more. You'll make way more in the next 2 to 5 years off the insurance stuff. If you can handle both right now, you do both right now. If you can't, then it's just insurance so that you make money, so that you hire teams, so you can end up doing both. But it's like, how do we get Ruben on the board of Airbnb and being the face for Airbnb for America? It's a sexy face. Someone said in the chat there's a sexy voice too.
I think maybe they were talking about you, but I appreciate that. I don't know that Airbnb is going to like me very much in a couple of years.
You're helping their owners make money and buy more Airbnbs. Like, you're giving them a model that you're going to show examples. This guy only had one Airbnb that was only being booked 25% of the time. And then I got him deals. And now he has 20 Airbnbs across the state and he's being booked up 75% of the time. It's like,
we do use a hybrid strategy. So it's in their best interest to leverage Airbnb. So let me get on the Airbnb board. Let me focus on these.
I'm serious, man. That's it. That's the plan.
No, I'm serious too.
Okay.
It went in a different direction than I thought, which is what I love because, we talked about it, the paradigm. You're like, this is how I'm seeing things. And then you want like a coach to come in and be like, actually, this is how I'm seeing things. And I think that's how I prefaced the question was like, in your lens of serving, right? When I had his book, like Built to Serve here, like, what do you see? Where do you see the opportunity? And it's fascinating because, you stand on the shoulders of giants and they'll see where you can't see. And so it's really going to make me rethink even the current model that we were going by. Yeah, it's fascinating. It was great.
My background is kind of diverse. I am a pastor, have been a senior pastor for 11 years. I'm a musician. I've played and toured stuff through the years, primary drums, little guitar, little piano. I've been a serial entrepreneur for most of my life. I've been doing real estate investment since 2000. I have a master's in psychology. And I've done a ton of counseling through the years with people. I specialize a lot in relational. I'm looking actually to make a shift in a lot of things in my life, and that I've done a lot of relational and business coaching and executive coaching through the years. A lot of it's just kind of happened with my pastoral, my business background, and my psychology background. I've been doing coaching quite a bit, and I enjoy it. I love helping people. It's a passion. I love to help people, but there's still bills to be paid. I really want to shift, create a brand, a name for myself, just so people know who I am. My circle knows me and trusts me, but I'd like to expand that, not to simply try to exhaust my immediate circle, so to speak, but to expand out from there and to supply what I've been doing for years anyways, but to people, to coach them. Executive coaching is a major thing, business coaching, and even relational. And executive coaching really falls a lot into that too, relational. You end up helping a lot of executives in relational issues and things as well. So that's a part of life. What would you consider one of the most important first steps to starting off with YouTube?
So whenever I'm helping someone with their YouTube strategy, the first question I always ask is, what ultimately are you selling?
I have a kind of eclectic background, pretty large, various experience, and trying to narrow down that aspect of, instead of trying to be so eclectic and touch everything, what can I offer, or what do people need that I can offer that will be the most impactful? Just to give you a quick relational, I have a master's in psychology and I've counseled for many, many years. Relational is one of my expertise. entrepreneurship, business, executive. I've been doing a bit of executive coaching. So those are kind of three of my expertise. What advice would you give me to either narrow that down or how to tackle that?
What would you say your most important core value is?
One of my most important core values would be family and just morals, honesty.
So whenever I'm meeting people who've got a bunch of different things going on, a lot of times it doesn't seem to make sense. It's like, well, I'm doing this over here and this over here and this. It's kind of, it feels all over the place, but it's actually not. Like if you were to think about the relational coaching that you do and the executive coaching that you do and the entrepreneurship that you do and the people that you hire and the customers that you work with, the themes of family and honesty flow through everything you do.
Yes.
And so when you're coaching somebody in a relationship, you're helping them also learn how to be more honest with themselves, honest with their loved ones, honest with their spouse, honest with their kids. When you're working with clients, you're going to be honest with them. You're not going to deceive them. You're not telling them mistruths. You're not just trying to get the sale. When you're coaching with people, executive coaching, the same thing. You're helping them get honest with themselves, honest with their business, honest with their career. And so it feels like it's all over the place, but it's actually not. It's like it's all connected through similar core values, which at least for me, I find helpful because for me, it's all belief. So whether it's the content I'm making, whether it's the coaching I'm doing, whether it's me as a husband or me as a father or, me as an employer or me as a provider of services. I'm just right here on this call. Like I'm trying to spread belief to you, to the audience. It's like, can't help it.
Right.
And so whenever we're kind of all over the place, it feels like there's no guiding, like, what the heck am I doing? Well, the guiding principle is your most important core value. And so whether it's family or honesty or some form of connection like that, well, that's the through point for everything that you do. And if you could think of like, what's the big mission that you have for the world? Well, imagine if you can help the world be more honest and care more about family. What kind of impact does that have? That's like the Tim ripple effect out into the world, which ultimately we want to bring to our YouTube channel, which is kind of, the theme of this talk. But also whether you write books, whether you create Instagram content, whether you build more companies, etc. That's like the Tim ripple effect out to the world. So that's like the big macro, what are we building? Where are we going? The through line. So it's not as all over the place. The challenge then becomes, okay, well, how do we make that practical, like in the next 3 months? Like what's our immediate steps? What do we do? But that's great. That's the mission. Awesome. That's the life. Like when Tim is 95 years old, you're still going to care about family. You're still going to care about honesty, maybe even more so by the time you're 95. Absolutely. Great. So like that's for life. So, but what do we do now in the next 3 months? And so the challenge I see with people when they're first getting started in creating their content is they feel like they're kind of talking into a void, and they might get a few likes or a few comments, but it's like it's not leading anywhere because we haven't attached the business model to it. And so when you can attach a business model to it, when you're making money from it, that allows you to then go build team, to then continue to create more content, to then have the big ripple effect out to the world. Because you can't do this. You look at that big mission of you can't do that by yourself. Right. You need team. And in order to hire team, unless you are Warren Buffett's long lost nephew or or something, have infinitely deep pockets to go off and hire a team, like we need to figure out how to turn this into a business. And so usually then it's a question of, okay, what's my next step? So all of these things that you want to do that are in your head are amazing and they can all happen, but we just have the sequence wrong. And so it's not doing 40 things at once. It's what's the first thing that then leads to the next thing, that leads to the next thing, that leads to the next. So within your big mission of everything that you could do, what's the thing that can help us start to generate revenue in the next 3 to 6 months around our mission? Whether it's executive coaching, whether it's relationship coaching, whether it's something else, what is the thing that can start to bring in revenue? It's usually a service instead of a product as you're getting started. What do you think from all the things that you could do is the thing that can generate revenue in the next 3 to 6 months or sooner?
Going through the movement makers and stuff, and one of the reasons to kind of add a plug to you. It's one of the reasons I came on board here is because what you share as far as doing interviews and those kind of things, and not just simply just content creation, but to do interviews with people and like your ideal clients, so on and so forth, interview them, was kind of more intuitive to what I was in my head was thinking. But so many other YouTubers out there were saying to do all kinds of other things. So I think to basically pull together a series of interviews and those things to it'll expand the audience, but also to create those content with people that are ideal clients, as you say, and then hopefully and likely they to come on and to hire me for one. The other is get my YouTube channel simply set up properly.
So when you talk about the clients, like what are we selling? Is it the executive coaching? Is it the relationship coaching? Is it something else? What do we want to start selling right away?
Probably the executive coaching. I'll be honest, I've found that a lot of everything I do is like you said, it's all intermingled. So a particular client I have now is an executive, very successful, dug in, started working with him, business things, different stuff of that nature, but really found I helped him with his relationship almost more than anything else. It kind of mingles.
For sure. Like if somebody is not having a great home life, they're not going to show up their best at work.
Correct.
For sure. And if they're not honest with themselves or their spouse, it's like it's going to fall apart at some point, for sure.
Right.
So great. Executive coaching. Are these entrepreneurs? Are these people in corporations? Like who's an ideal person for you, or who are the types of people that you've attracted so far?
Entrepreneurs and also corporate executives has been both. That's who I've attracted mostly now. Just closed out with one guy, but I'm working with two guys. One is an entrepreneur. The other is a business executive for a fairly large company.
Okay, great. So in terms of looking at content, at the beginning of a YouTube channel, we don't get a lot of views, right? I mean, you can look at my channel and see the history. 1 year in, 25 subscribers, whatever it was. You're not making a lot of subscribers. You're not making a lot of money from advertising. You're not really even spreading the message that far and wide. You know, like if I got 50 views on a video, I'd be celebrating. If we got one comment, it'd be amazing. And so it definitely is a longer game. And so the key is, okay, how do we start generating revenue while building our mission?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're looking at executive coaching, using the biz dev show strategy that we talk about in Mover Makers can be great, both for potential clients as well as potential referral partners. You know, if you're looking at executives or even entrepreneurs, they're usually pretty easy to get on an interview. So the idea would be we interview them. You're not coaching them live. You're interviewing them and telling their story. Executives are probably a little easier because they will likely have more budget than an entrepreneur, unless you target successful entrepreneurs, because there's a lot of entrepreneurs who have no money.
Oh, yeah. I've been there at one time.
It's very fulfilling work, but it's not going to help pay your bills and help you build your team to go then create your mission. What city are you in?
Melbourne, Florida.
Perfect. So, you know, you look at some of the top companies in Florida. What are the biggest corporations? Who are the VPs at these companies? And inviting them to come on your show to talk about what professional success looks like to them. Like, what does success look like to you? And that's what you talk about on the show. And you talk about their story and where they came from and how they value family and where does honesty fit in and all the things that, you know, you care about. You're interviewing them. It's not a coaching session, but you're interviewing them, but you're also getting to know them. And you're also seeing where they stand. You know, like if somebody says, oh, yeah, family's not important to me. I've been divorced 18 times. It doesn't matter. It's all about success. You probably don't, you know, it's probably not a good fit.
Yeah, probably not.
No, you know, they probably won't say that, but you never know. Like
I've ran across a few.
Well, there you go. So you're seeing how open they are. You're seeing if it's a good vibe. And you're just seeing how well you guys get along or not. And in there, you're planting a seed of that you are an executive coach. And one of the questions is something like, so I'm an executive coach. And one of the things that I often coach people through, executives, is their home life. Because if you're not happy at home, you don't bring your best to work. How do you balance your home life with your work life? Mm-hmm. And in that kind of question, you're planting a seed. So it's not just an interview, but they know that you're an executive coach. And this is one of the things that you talk about. They're probably not going to come on a public interview and say, oh my God, Tim, my home life is a wreck. I don't know what I'm doing. Not. My wife hates me. Like, they're probably not going to say all that stuff. But we're planting the seed that you are a coach in this area. And again, you get to see how they're reacting to these questions to see if it might be a potential fit for you or not. And getting VPs at different companies to come on your show and talk about professional success is relatively easy. Like, if you're starting a brand new YouTube channel, you could say, I'm starting a brand new channel. I'm starting from scratch. I have 0 subscribers. I've been an executive coach for the past X number of years, and I want to create a show highlighting professional success from Florida executives. And I'd love to have you come on my show and talk about your story. That's a pretty easy yes, because nobody is going and interviewing them.
Right.
If you are saying, hey, I'm an executive coach and I'd love to sell you my services, or I'd love to have a coffee with you to talk about how I might be able to help you, they're not going to respond to that.
Yeah, you most likely will never talk to them.
Right. But an interview, they're way more likely to say yes to. And so that's the whole point of the BizDev show, is we're creating content, telling their story that leads to clients for you. And then in generating business, whatever your packages are, I don't know how many people you can work with at a time. You know, you're not going to executive coach 200 people at a time. So there's a limit, like 30, 20. How many people can you take on at a time?
I could probably do about 20 at a time if I'm running solo.
Yeah. And I like how you're already an entrepreneur. You're already thinking, if I'm running solo, caveat.
I've been a business owner for almost 28 years.
That's great. I love it, Tim. I love it. He's already thinking expansion and next step. It's great. And so, well, that becomes the goal, right? It's like, okay, so I'm going to get to 20 on my own, and then I'm going to hire junior coaches underneath me. And then the price of Tim goes up compared to working with somebody junior underneath me. And whether then that leads to courses or packages or ebooks or books or whatever else down the line, that's great too. But if you had a really successful coaching practice with 20 people and your rate keeps going up, that then gives you the space to then go hire a team to help you do everything else and start building the brand.
Absolutely.
So then it's, what's the fastest way to start getting those 20 people? Well, you do a BizDev show where you're interviewing successful executives in the Florida area to talk about professional success.
Yeah, and there's a lot of major business here just in the Melbourne area. So
tons. You're lucky. You're not like in the middle of nowhere. There's tons of companies.
I'm all your major government contractors: GE, Harris, Grumman, DRS, the Cape Center, the Space Center. There's a ton of them here. So
yeah, and people who are already, you can assume, making 6 figures plus in their career. We're not targeting like first year out of university, but they've been in their role for a while. They're struggling with kind of managing a team and managing their home life and everything else. And here's a great opportunity for you to come in.
Absolutely.
So that's clients. The second part of it is bringing on potential referral partners. And so referral partners for you could either be inside organizations, which are HR departments. You're managing the VP of HR at the company, who might be a client for you, but also they know all the other executives at the company who might say, I wonder if Tim spoke with John. Maybe he's a good fit to help him with what he's going through right now.
That's kind of how the executive I'm working with right now, basically the company said, go talk to this guy, get help, because it's cheaper for us to get you help than it is for us to hire someone else.
Yeah, and what you provide isn't something that HR provides. So
correct.
You're not a competitor. You're not an internal competitor to them. They're not saying, we can do this ourselves. They need this outsourced service. And so HR can be your best ally in this. So internal HR departments, like VPs of HR departments, like whatever the VP at GE in Florida for HR is get that person on the show. And the thing is, again, like to find who that person is not that difficult. You go to LinkedIn, you look up GE Florida, you see who's VP, you type in human resources, a whole bunch of names come up. Nobody ever reaches out to them to ask for an interview. Like you'll be the only person in their history who's ever asked them for their story. It's relatively easy to get a yes. The other one would be outside. So that's internal, like HR departments. The other would be outside. So recruiters, for example, high-level recruiters. They're dealing with executives all the time. Either trying to poach executives or they have somebody who just left the job and they're trying to place them somewhere. And do they need executive coaching? A friend of mine
is a high-end recruiter. So
great. So what are the struggles that his clients are dealing with? And how might you be of service? I mean,
I'll have to give him a call.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one, if he's already your friend, that's a great in. It's just an honest conversation. Like, hey, here's what I do. How can I be of service to people like you? Not that it's a hardcore sales pitch, like you need to hire me or I'm not going to see you at Christmas anymore, right? But just to get his feedback. But again, those kinds of people would be great to have on your show, even if it's a brand new show, to talk about professional success. You bring recruiters on, executive recruiters on, not the guys filling the temp lines or trying to put people into McDonald's or something, right? It's the high-end executive recruitment companies, which again in Florida there's tons,
right?
And again, nobody has ever asked them for their story to do an interview with them. And now, like, if you got to know the top 50 executive recruiters in Florida, what does that do for your business?
It could be huge.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get your 20 clients pretty quick, right? And now thinking
I'll
team
be scrambling and saying, Evan, help.
Yeah, the next call I'll be like, I got too many clients. It's a great problem to have. But you already know how to fix that problem, right? You've already built businesses, so that's fine. The key is now how do you get to know? So like if the top 50 recruiters in Florida knew who you were, that explodes your business. Great. What's the fastest way to get to know the top 50 recruiters in Florida? You interview them. And you can do it with a brand new show.
Yeah.
You don't have to have millions of followers, right? Like, so in Movement Makers, tomorrow, we have Ryan Serhant coming in. If you know Ryan, probably the most famous real estate agent in the world. He's got millions of followers. To get him, he wants to come and talk to us because I'm going to edit it for video on my channel, right? He's probably not going to come on your show as a pure startup because he's built a brand for himself, right? Great. But recruiter in Florida that nobody's ever heard of or talked to is great. It's not that hard to get a yes.
Right. So, and then that becomes an inroad to many other things as well.
If all the recruiters and HR people in Florida knew who you were, it explodes the business. And the whole point of that is let's just fill up our 20 client roster as quickly as possible to then have Tim start getting paid more. And then whatever the next step is for you, whether it's just, I'm just going to triple my prices, or I'm going to hire junior coaches underneath me, or I'm going to franchise this across America, or I want to build my personal brand now and create thought leadership content. The challenge when people are starting a new YouTube channel is they're just going direct to camera. And the mistake would be you launch a channel and you say, here are the top 5 mistakes that executives make. And you're just, you share your ideas to camera.
Right.
Nobody's probably watching that video.
No.
And you're taking like a 5-year plan if you're making content every week, then eventually you'll start getting some traction on it. But you have to have a ton of patience to be able to start getting enough views from your videos that it generates leads.
Right.
Whereas if you start a biz dev show and you have a recruiter on in the first episode, that might lead to 5 clients for you.
Yeah. And that's creating a bunch of content and stuff, which I mean wouldn't be a problem to do, but like you said, that's long term, takes forever, and that's what I'd say 90+% of all the major YouTubers out there that I've seen tell you to do. And then I came across you, and I was like, wow, this is great.
Well, and it's probably probably part of your future. Because
Right.
when I asked you, what do you stand for? You're talking about spreading honesty and spreading family. Like, that's a big mission. You want to have a big ripple effect out into the world. And so,
Yeah.
so that's the final outcome. Like,
A
95-year-old
major
Tim.
passion of mine is to just simply help people. And I've done it for years, and that's why I actually started coaching, is because I would counsel with people and help people. And I learned very quickly through the years that people that pay attention. If they get the information for free, there's no value in it. And so I was frustrated giving people and seeing a couple people have great success and a bunch of them just not doing anything. And once I started charging for my help, then pretty much everybody I've worked with now sees great results because they got skin in the game and they're actually taking advice and doing things.
So the Biz Dev Show is not the final destination, because you will not be satisfied with just 20 clients and you're having an impact on 20 people for the rest of your life.
Right.
You've got a much bigger mission inside your heart. The vehicle to get there is to get the 20 high-paying clients to then fund a team to help you do everything else. So
Correct.
The starting point is the Biz Dev Show, which then creates unlimited opportunities for you, whether you want to do book launches or speaking gigs or having a nationwide series of coaches or whatever it is that you then want to do next, because you have a solid income stream and a team to help you then go off and change the world.
Absolutely. It was wonderful. Evan's very gracious, and it was a great conversation. It was very informative and motivating.
Pretty humble backgrounds. My dad was a truck driver, didn't finish high school, dropped out to just work. I moved to Alaska when I was 19 and worked construction there for a couple of years. Moved back to Montana, started a family super young, got into real estate sales in my mid-20s. And it's kind of a backwards way of people normally start a construction business. So I've been a realtor for 25 years, and I started selling for a home builder and kind of learned the processes. And with my limited amount of knowledge in construction that I'd done, I sold for him for about 5 years. We had a great relationship. He's still a good friend. And then I just kind of ventured out on my own just in time for, the big market crash in 2008. Been building now for about 15 years. And so then I brought my sister on as a partner in our real estate sales. We basically build 40 to 50 houses a year in Montana, and then we sell real estate as well. So we close about 100 deals a year, just real estate wise. I was kind of the first builder to jump on like the Facebook posts in our area, obviously, and started, doing progress pictures and tagging the buyers and that kind of stuff, and growing that kind of way. So I've always been kind of a little bit ahead of my competition just because I like to innovate. I did start a small coaching group, real estate coaching group with a friend in Utah. So kind of funnel people to that. It's a free Facebook group right now, so we're not charging anything right now or anything. We're just starting really small and organic, but really just make more awareness of our real estate business. We build homes, sell homes, and now we're getting into development. So we're really trying to just kind of expand. With the YouTube channel, I'm just started brand new. And so basically starting from the basics of learning how to build the brand, how to, get more followers and people watching our stuff. So we've got a couple of videos out now, and we've got great response to it. I'm actually kind of shocked at how many people have watched and commented on it already. Originally, I was thinking just more people to sell real estate to, and to, I'm a home builder, real estate agent, and real estate developer. So building the credibility there, becoming the expert in that area is one part. And then I've also started a free Facebook real estate group so we're teaching people how to, all the way from the mortgages all the way down to, to development. So that's really what we're doing.
What would be a good win for you this year if it was like, would you rather have more paying clients? Would you rather have more agents knowing about you? Would you rather have more homeowners who want to build homes working with you? Would you rather have 100 people, 1,000 people sign up for your coaching thing? What?
I think Honestly, like, because we're getting a lot of, we're really busy, about as busy as we can be with home building and stuff like that. I think building that coaching group, that will expand me into more deal flow, more, more everything. I think that will add to everything now as we go through.
Okay, so coaching group in Montana, across the U.S. What's our goal?
The U.S. Yep, I partnered with a partner of mine. He's going to be my next biz dev guest, actually. He's a mortgage broker and he flips homes, so we're covering the whole gamut of real estate.
Got it. And who are the ideal people who are going to sign up for your coaching program?
Real estate investors, real estate agents, home builders, developers, anybody that wants to do flips. So we're kind of covering that, that want to, real estate's such a big, broad area.
So whenever I'm thinking biz dev show, or even like launching anything new, it's like, who are the 50 to 100 people that if they knew this thing existed would lead to millions of dollars for you? Yep. Who are the connectors for you that if they knew this program existed would lead to tons of sales for you?
I think it's the real estate investor or the people that own the land that want to develop it, that want to get coached on how to do those things.
Right. So who's best connected to those people? Because those are your ideal clients,
right?
Which is fine. And talking to them is great. And you can do biz dev show with them. Great. But that's like one person at a time versus who's the connector that they're talking to these guys all day long and they might send you 10, 20, 40 clients at a time.
Right. You're probably talking bankers, attorneys.
The real estate lawyers.
The real estate lawyers, attorneys, that kind of stuff, accountants, the 1031 tax exchange accountants and stuff like that.
Agents, do they have enough investors underneath them or people who want to flip homes?
Yeah, they might. And that'll add to a lot of a bigger community listening because they'll probably have a good amount of people.
But even the lawyers, real estate lawyers, they're connected to your ideal people all day long.
They are. They're not the funnest to talk to.
That's why it's so great.
Right.
Like nobody wants to talk to them.
Right. Exactly.
That's the beauty of this show of launching it's not going to get you the most views. So like, what are we trying to accomplish? It's not going to get you the most views on the videos. It's not going to get you a million subscribers, but it's going to get you ideal clients. So if you said, I want to get 1,000 paying members, how much is your Facebook group or your group?
It's definitely free right now. And then we'll have events later.
Oh, okay. So it's just free.
For right now, we're going to build it up as it's free. And then we'll do live events.
So live events like in person, or it's going to be on Zoom, or
it'll be live in person. It's like a destination type of event.
Got it. Okay. Do you know where your first destination is going to be?
Either Montana or Salt Lake, because we've got Montana's beautiful, and so is all the Salt Lake area.
Okay, so those are the communities to build up first, right? Like you could go across America, and there's nothing to prevent somebody from Florida flying out to Montana or Salt Lake, but if it's in your backyard, it's easier to say yes to come to this event.
Correct. Yep.
Have you thought about how much you're going to charge for an event?
We're thinking $5,000 to $8,000.
Okay, and it's like 1 day, 2 days.
Yeah, 1 or 2 days. Rent a lodge in Whitefish, Montana, or something like that.
Oh, okay. So how many people?
I think
it's just renting a lodge. It's like 10, 20
people. 20. Yep.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay, so we need the right people then. So it's building a relationship with the right real estate lawyers and potentially agents / brokers in Montana and Salt Lake. And it's not that you'll say no to somebody in California, but so if it's in your own backyard, it's just so much easier to go to than if you have to hop on a flight and go.
Correct. And then hopefully we grow it to where it is big enough to do that. But you're right. Baby step it in your own backyard.
Well, to get 20 people, that could just be one right lawyer.
Correct.
You could be ready to hit it. I don't know what kind of timelines you were thinking about, but if you got to know the 10 biggest real estate lawyers in Montana, you could be sold out in the next couple of months for your event. You don't even need to do. The other thing to think about is like a Facebook group. A lot of times the people who are paying, it's a weird price point, like 5 to 8K is kind of high ticket, but not quite. A lot of times, what are people paying for? They pay for speed. I get to hang out with you for a day or 2 days, you and your business partner, and you're just going to shortcut years of me trying to figure it out on my own. So a lot of times it's more challenging to do ascension from a free program, a Facebook group, than just go direct to the paid thing. If you think about an ideal client for you, someone's going to drop $8K to come to spend 2 days with you guys. You talk to the right real estate lawyer, they might have a handful of people already who would sign up to do it.
Right.
And those people who are willing to drop $8K on you don't want to join a free Facebook group.
That makes a lot of sense.
You could just go and sell out your live events right away if that's the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Like the building of the Facebook group is just, it's a different model where usually you're selling something much low ticket. You're selling a $50 ebook or a $100 course or leads to different home building companies or mortgage brokers or whatever. But it's all at the super low ticket area, because those people who are coming in, and you might even charge more than 8K.
Yeah.
Those people are coming in, don't want to be a part of a Facebook group. They value their time. Like some people value their money more than time, and some people value their time more than money.
Yep.
The people who value their money more than time are joining the Facebook group. The people who value their time more than money are going to join your $8,000 2-day event.
Yep. I like that.
So then there's the goal to build up the Facebook strategy is, I want to have 1 million people in this group. We're going to be teaching real estate across the country. We're going to launch our own books and ebooks and lead gen for real estate agents, etc. Or we want to launch these $8,000 events in cabins and sell those out as quickly as possible.
Right. I think that's the bigger play, is to do the events. Okay. That's the play we should focus on.
And there's no right or wrong. It's just a sequence. Like there's nothing to prevent you from doing the other thing too. It's just what the order is.
Absolutely.
Because as you're talking to these people in the industry, real estate lawyers, how you position it is very different. If you're saying, I have this free Facebook group, they're thinking they're really low tier people who are just kind of getting started and might be making their first investment kind of thing, versus, no, we do these exclusive events that's 10 to 20 people and we go deep with them and help them make multi-million-dollar investments. So they're just thinking in their minds of different types of people to refer you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's what we want to sell. Awesome. Now, if we got to know the top 50 real estate lawyers in Montana, there might be a lot of boring interviews.
We can make them fun.
But it's less about the law. Like the BizDev show is less about whatever new law is coming up, because that's going to be really boring and also not as helpful, and more about their story. Like, why did they get started here? Why do they do what they do? What problems do they see with people who are trying to get into real estate investing? And then somewhere in the show you drop. And so one of the things that we do is we run these exclusive events for real estate investors, and it's $8,000. We take them for 2 days and teach them everything they need to know to launch their first real estate investment. And so one of the things we find, so like I'm planting the seed, right? So now they know what it is that you do. Mm-hmm. One of the things we find is they don't know how to, and then whatever. They don't know how to find the first property. They don't know how to hire the right team. They don't know how to, whatever the thing is. What's your take on that? And so they're answering a question, but in the question, now they know you're not just some YouTuber.
Yep, I love that.
They know, and you're not just some home builder, right? Like you've had significant experience as a home builder, but less so in terms of teaching this. Like this is a new thing, right? This kind of mastermind you're creating.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So they don't see you as just some home builder who's started a YouTube channel, but they see you as a guy who has decades of experience in the industry, and now you have this high-end program for people to join in on.
Right. I like that. Yeah. And then, and Montana is such a fun topic, especially with real estate lawyers and accountants, because we had such an influx of out-of-state people moving in during the pandemic that'll be, an easy topic to talk to them about and lead into, the events and just like kind of how you led that up. I like that.
It's super easy.
Yeah.
I mean, it all depends on who you're trying to get to, right? So tomorrow we have Ryan Serhant coming, right? So like he's in your industry. He's the probably the most famous real estate agent in America.
For sure.
Or at least one of. To get him on your show is going to be really hard, right? If you said, hey, I'm starting this brand new show, to get him to come on is going to be really difficult. To get a real estate lawyer in Montana to come on, and like it's super easy. Like nobody has ever asked them ever for their story ever, right? The fastest way to sell out your program is to get to know the top 50 real estate lawyers in Montana. Cool. The fastest way to get to know the 50 top real estate lawyers in Montana is to interview them.
I like that a lot.
And just how you did it with your friend, you just you did it on whether it was Zoom or what, I don't know what tool, like you're in your office there and there, so you can do it like that. You can go visit them if you want to get a lay of the land. And like people ask, like, how long should the show be? It's not about the length of the show. We don't even care how well the video does yet. We're not trying to build a brand for America yet. We're just trying to build a relationship with the key people that will generate an extra 7-8 figures for us this year.
Right. Yep. That makes a ton of sense. And, there's probably only 20 great lawyers in Montana. So it'll be pretty easy for me to reach out to every single one of them until I can get them all on.
Do you know them already?
I know a handful. I know at least 5 or 6. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the good thing is you if you don't know them personally, they're not that difficult to find. You already know, like you just do a Google search and you start finding, you LinkedIn search, you start finding people and you reach out. It's not that difficult a search. And because it's only Montana, and the ones you do know, maybe you don't know that well, maybe you've dealt with a couple times with the past few years, maybe they recognize your name, maybe they don't. But having them on is a great way to, one, rebuild the relationship, and two, they may not know that you have this new offer. They know you as the custom home builder, not as the guy who's doing this 2-day training in the cabin.
Right, correct. That's the absolute way I'll do it.
I wonder if the agent might even pay for the training for their clients. Like you think about what if it's a high enough sale, and especially now with agents struggling with MLS and the commissions being taken away, all that. But at the high end, you still need a real estate agent.
Absolutely. Yeah. The brokers might pay for their agent to go for sure.
Well, they may pay for their agents to go, but they may also pay for their clients to go. Mm. Because if you're helping them get the education on how to continue to do this, that's a lot of agent fees because they're going to need somebody to sell their home. If they're buying a whole bunch of investment properties, right? They're buying all these investment properties that the goal is to not live in all of them. They want to flip them. Right. So they need an agent to help them sell it. That's extra commissions.
Yep, I like that a lot.
So for forward-thinking agents and brokers, instead of buying whatever gift they give them when a house closes, they could be sending them to your training.
Oh.
Lawyers, maybe not as much. Like the gift giving isn't as industry standard, at least what I've seen. But on the agent and broker side, it's all about the relationship.
Absolutely.
And it's at a price point that might be a little expensive for them. Like $5,000 to $8,000 is a little expensive as a gift, but for the right price, for the right client and the right commission, like that could be worth it.
Maybe we could come up with a smaller course or like introductory, for a less price for agents, just specifically for agents to give to their clients.
It could be something you do once a quarter.
Yeah.
Within the brokerage. So it's not just one agent, but the whole brokerage gets to give it as a gift to their clients to come on and do.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
Which might lead to an upsell. Like you get the client names now. So you could do a Zoom session that might be $500. That's half a day. And you get however many people on a Zoom session for the brokerage. But then after that, you have the client name to then say, hey, we're doing this next event in the cabin. If you want to join us, it's $8,000. And we're going to go a lot more in depth.
Yep, and then they're just in the ecosystem.
Yeah, they're on your email list. I mean, hopefully they love you because they just spent the past half a day with you. You gave them a lot of value. And the next logical step is for them. Like something like that could be a good ascension into signing up for your $8,000 program. Instead of a free Facebook group, you're going to get a lot of super early beginners.
Yep, I like that. It gives me a great place to start.
Yeah. That's super easy.
Yeah.
Like, are you ready to go with the training now? Like, if you got it, you had enough people next week.
Yeah, I think I could be ready pretty quick.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, if you guys already know what you're going to teach, then it's just logistics of having a cabin and catering and having people to have hotels, or if you're all going to stay actually in the cabin, there's some logistics around, like as someone who runs events, there's some logistics around making that happen, but it's not super complicated. Yeah.
But I also like the lower end one, like Zoom one, kind of as a baby step, cut our teeth and get that and then start upselling on those higher events.
It's worth it to do at a reduced price if you're talking to potential ideal clients. right? Like the problem with a Facebook group or even a YouTube channel at scale is most of the people are not going to be your ideal client. But if they're coming from a broker, they're already in the market, they're already hiring professionals, they're already at a certain size, they're much more likely to say yes and take the training. So it's worth doing at a lower price for them because you're getting ideal. You don't have to do, like people usually do paid marketing to get the right people in the door. You're getting paid to do marketing to get the right people in the door.
Right.
And it's still the same biz dev strategy. Like you then just have the broker on your show. And again, who wants to talk to Montana real estate brokers?
A lot of people want to talk to Montana real estate brokers. So
yeah, but who's interviewing them?
No, nobody. Right. Absolutely nobody.
Well, you are.
I am now. Yeah, exactly.
You are now. That's the thing. Everybody wants to talk to them to pitch them stuff. So they don't want to go for coffee and talk to you about your idea.
Right. You're actually giving them some value.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
You're telling their story. And then once you have the interview, you can clip it. You can give them, little 30-second clips. You can use AI tools like Opus and clip it so that like you're helping them create their own social media marketing as well. Yep. And you've now built a relationship where like you become the guy that they trust and want to deal with.
Yeah, it's a great system. Just the couple that I've done already with the clips and everything, we're getting a good response from it, especially from the people that we interviewed.
Yeah. And those are people that you know. Yeah. Now, if you start reaching out to people that you don't know, it's even better.
Exactly.
Which has all sorts of trickle-on effects of maybe they, you said your home building business is all full up, but maybe that leads to more sales for your main business too.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we can always have more, but that's, just a long-term growth strategy.
Yeah, it's just that perspective. Like if the top 50 real estate lawyers and brokers in Montana knew you and liked you, what does that do for your business?
Oh, a ton. Even just referrals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Problem solved. No more questions for me. That's an easy strategy.
But I have to keep doing it, right? Like I have to keep going after people that I don't feel comfortable talking to. And, I've started that. My first couple are just with like my buddies, but they're in the same industry. So that's good. And that I just kind of have to start thinking bigger on the coaching group and stuff like that. So it was all great stuff. So
to see me coach other entrepreneurs, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
It took me 350 videos until I wasn't embarrassed by myself. The first 350 public videos on YouTube, I couldn't watch. I couldn't watch myself back. People have an attention span to watch, but they will leave in the first minute if it's not good.